An eerie photo taken by 9 climbers. Soon after, all died mysteriously. 2 showed abnormal radiation on their bodies. 4 looked attacked. Nearby sat a secret Soviet base. Officials blamed an avalanche, but nobody believed their story either. Was it a natural phenomenon, a Yeti, or a nearby base running a Stranger Things-style military experiment? And what did the incident's lone survivor truly endure in all this?
Hi, I'm Ali. Today we unearth Dyatlov Pass, sealed by Soviets 30 years. It starts at a university. 1959, 8 men and 2 women from the Soviet Ural Institute formed a climbing team, planning a trip to northern Urals. Though young, each holds a level 2 mountaineering permit. Their skills are beyond doubt. Their captain was Dyatlov. The incident took his name too. Then set off from the Ural Polytechnic Institute on the 23rd of January. From there, our story begins. From the photos, they looked thrilled, enjoying every mile. None could foresee what would happen next on that road still ahead. They planned to head to Utoten Mountain in the Ural Range. In the local indigenous language, Utoten means don't go there. Soon after departure, group member Yuri Yudin fell suddenly ill. So he had to abandon the trip early and return home. And he became the sole survivor of this incident. The remaining 9 people continued on towards Utoten Mountain. On the 31st of January, they reached the mountain's foot and made a final resupply. Next day, the 1st of February, they entered the range, and from then on sent nothing outside. They had originally planned to return on the 12th of that month, but by the 20th, there was still no word from them. The early returnee was right. He realized something was badly off, alerted families, called police, and the military began searching Utoten Mountain. But the search was shocking. On this mountain, no trace of them. It wasn't until 6 days later, on the 26th of February, that the search party found a ski track in the snow. Following this ski track forward, they discovered another mountain ahead called Koletsyakal. And indigenous people called the Mansi have always lived near Koletsyakal. And in the Mansi language, Koletsyakal means dead mountain. So the team inexplicably suddenly changed course from don't go the mountain to dead mountain. So the entire search team rushed to Koletsyakal, where they found an abandoned tent on an eastern slope. They identified it as the Dyatlov group's tent. Snow had crushed it completely flat. Nobody inside, yet it was strangely slashed open. Forensics found the tent was cut from inside. So the people in the tent were in a panic. They couldn't even open it and had to slash it open with a knife. In the tent, rescuers found clothes, shoes and socks, showing many fled without luggage. Why leave so hurriedly? What happened? Soon rescuers found a string of footprints in front of the tent, in a line. From prints, most people crossed the snow barefoot or in socks only. Yet experts, judging the footprint shapes, felt at that time they weren't fleeing. They walked on, step by step. This was very contradictory. So urgent they cut the tent open to escape. They should have run fast. Still, rescuers followed the footprints on ahead. Puzzled, they found a cedar grove 1.5 kilometers away. In the cedar woods, they found a burned-out campfire, and beside it, 2 bodies lying. Identified. Both bodies were confirmed Dyatlov team members. Both bodies were badly underdressed. Night temperatures hit minus 40 degrees Celsius. Why were so little in such deadly cold? They even had third-degree burns too. Rescuers went downhill past cedars. 800 meters later, they found 3 bodies in Snow Gully. Among them was leader Dyatlov. Strangely, the 3 fell as well, each facing the tent, all looking that way as they went down there. According to forensics, all 5 died of hypothermia. 4 were drunk at the time of their deaths. I should explain why many who die in snow were little. It's paradoxical undressing from hypothermia. In extreme cold, nerve endings get damaged, sending false, muddled signals, so the body wrongly feels it's heating up inside. People often strip instinctively here, so these 5 then died of hypothermia. 5 of 9 have been found. So where are the remaining 4 right now? In extreme conditions, the body suffers. Likewise, stress, sleepless nights, or hormone imbalance can often trigger hair loss, troubling many people. Baldness often isn't from shedding, but from hair failing to regrow. Normally, hair balances shedding and regrowth, but stress, bad habits, or abnormal androgens in the body switch off growth, triggering hair loss. Key signs include sparse, fine hair, extra oil, a receding hairline, and wider partings. Act quickly and seek treatment if noticed. And minoxidil foam is the medically preferred treatment option. A pseudo-ion channel opener. It triggers dermal papilla cells to release growth signals, switches hair growth on, reactivates dormant follicles, and boosts hair density overall. Fresher foam, non-irritating, acts a third faster than types, giving earlier feedback. Take this hair loss chart to compare. Start treatment early, while follicles are active, for best results. Double 11 brings big savings. Tap the pinned comment link to restore thicker hair today.
Months later, in April or May, they found a thought stream 75 meters from the cedar forest. They lay the other 4 bodies.
But these 4 were unlike the first 5. Not hypothermia, but far graver, fatal internal injuries. 1 skull was cracked. 2 had multiple ribs broken with internal bleeding. Strangest, the 4th woman had no tongue or eyes. Forensics found blood in his stomach, suggesting he was still alive when tongueless. The military found unusual radioactivity on the body's clothing. Witnesses said some victims' skin looked an oddly bright orange at the scene. That's a classic sign of radiation exposure. Why are climbers carrying radioactive traces here? These doubts made death scores hard to judge. In August 1959, Soviet police, Stump, issued a final verdict. Mountaineers died from a powerful, unknown force. Soviet authorities swiftly sealed off Kolat Mountain, banning all entry for 3 entire years. Many thought it would remain unsolved. But in 1990 Levievanow, the inquiry's supervisor, had his letters published by his family for the first time. These letters sparked likely, even dark, suspicions. Ivanov, chief officer, personally, the incident was already a scandal. To protect the Soviet image, leaders ordered him to wrap it up fast. He meant to use the least disruptive avalanche theory, but found no trace of one while investigating. If it were an avalanche, the climber's tent wouldn't cave in. It would be meters deep, lost in snow. An avalanche couldn't erase a member's eyes and tongue, so he dismissed idea first. Next, in his letter, he wrote the team may have met a UFO and been attacked by aliens. Why claim that then? According to the autopsy reports, they had already died on the night of February 1st. And that night, a geological survey team happened to be camped 50 li away. They reported seeing an orange-yellow light drift by in that direction. And this is the last photo taken by the Dyatlov group before their deaths. Blurry, likely shot in haste, yet a light mass appears ahead, quite coinciding somewhat with witnesses' reported orange glow. Many say the light was a torch, a flashlight, or a campfire. That's possible. Still, there's little evidence for this idea. Neither the baseless avalanche tale nor claims the USSR had aliens please top Soviet leaders. With no option, Ivanov pressed on digging deeper and found the climbers' deaths might link directly to Soviet forces. He found a Soviet nuclear test base near Kolat for launching and testing missiles. Maybe bad weather forced the hikers to reroute, leaving Mount Ototen for Kolat Syakhl, where Soviet troops ran a nuclear test, causing accidental injuries. That may explain the orange glow seen, probably missile flare. It also explains burns, radiation exposure, and serious internal injuries in some members. And the strangest thing is, how did the military even think to test the victims for radiation levels in the first place? How did they link the climbing team to radiation checks somehow? Feels deliberately shady as well. Ivanov's probe turned towards the military, but again badly angered the Soviet top brass. Later, a Soviet telegram summoned him to Moscow. Back, he declared the case closed. Reason given. As said, The climbers' deaths came from a chain of unknown, powerful forces. That was all. By 1990, Soviet control of public opinion was already far weaker than before. Only then did his family dare compile his old letters and publish them. What Ivanov faced in Costco long ago may remain unknown forever to us. In 2019, Russia published files, but they bristled with doubts. First, the file shows deletions, edits. Also, the investigation date is wrong. Officially, it started the 20th of February, but the record says the 6th of February. It felt as if it were known in advance. Ivanov blamed the military till death. Yet the idea doesn't add up. If the Soviet military was behind this, they'd wipe them all out. They wouldn't ever leave this much evidence. Theory: they were attacked by an unknown creature among the local Mansi. A legend still says a Yeti lives in this area here. Like Bigfoot, it's a mysterious ape-man creature. They say it attacks locals and travelers. What proof backs this? In the cedar grove, investigators found another tree beside the body from the base to 5 meters up. This tree's branches were snapped, implying that, before dying, they clawed up in panic, as if hiding from something nearby. In their photos, they found something odd. Some say it looks just like a Yeti too. But this guess still fails outright. If a Yeti or any wild animal attacked, there'd be visible tracks nearby, and the bodies would show clear bite or claw marks. But there were none, so the photo may show just one member. Next, the Kármán vortex tree, an odd phenomenon. The proponent of this theory is an American filmmaker named Dyatlov, who published a book in 2013 called Dead Mountain. He took his team to the site of the Dyatlov Pass incident, even stayed there for a night to experience the local environment firsthand. At night, he noticed this place gave off a strange low-frequency hum. It seemed the wind, under this unusual subterranean structure, made a strange sound. He guessed its low frequency could affect human brains. Scientists tested low-frequency sound. At certain pitches, your brain or whole body feels uneasy, uncomfortable. That spawned another urban legend. Black Friday. Many who heard the piano piece reportedly suffered varying mental disturbances, perhaps because the music hides unsettling frequencies that make people anxious, even unwell. Sure, another legend. We'll cover it later, so perhaps Kármán vortices formed at Kolet, driving them into panic, slashing the tent and fleeing to freeze to death outside. Another very likely explanation is a slab avalanche. I think, in 2021, two researchers named Gom and Pazrin published a new study. After checks and calculations, they blamed the Dyatlov case on slab avalanche. A slab avalanche isn't what we would normally think of as a large-scale avalanche, but rather a small-scale displacement of a block of snow. The location where Dyatlov and his group camped was on an eastern slope. While camping, they likely weakened the snow slope structure, loosening the upper layer above and triggering instability. That night the first blizzard fell. Snow built up fast until the upper slab above shifted and slid straight down onto the tent. Even small slab avalanches can hit with huge force, like a small car slamming into someone at speed. So it left some members with fractures and injuries. All fled the tent to flee. This theory explains why no avalanche traces appeared nearby. It wasn't a conventional avalanche at all. Then how else explain some members' burns and radiation exposure? First, the burnt members lay inside the cedar, beside a spent campfire. After death, it likely fled and scorched them, causing third-degree burns. Also, some bodies showed radiation above normal levels, but it wasn't anything wildly excessive either. Experts suspect this relates to one member, who once spent time working at the Mayak nuclear weapons plant there briefly. A major nuclear leak once happened here, likely leaving his clothes contaminated with dangerously high residual radiation even now. Last question is about the victim without eyes and tongue. Forensics concluded neither was removed by human action, but by natural causes.